观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看由中国体育打造的世界杯球星专访节目《逐梦卡塔尔》。今天我们也是非常荣幸地邀请到了欧文来做客到我们的演播室，一起来聊一聊他的故事。您好，欧文先生。英格兰队是再次在比赛当中倒在了点球上，所以对此您如何评价呢？
Yeah, it was unfortunate for England. I thought we played very well in the game, and a missed penalty has cost us. Penalties are always the scourge of the English game. But we had two penalties in the game and scored one and obviously missed one. It was very disappointing, but I think we can be proud of the way we played. We possibly were the best team, and yeah, I think France are probably one of the best teams in the world, so I think England are as well.
那当英格兰输球之后，你有没有给国家队的球员发过信息，或者是通过通电话来鼓励他们呢？
I haven't spoken to any of the players yet, but of course we speak. The ex-players speak to each other and talk about the game and have a drink and drown our sorrows. So yeah, it was disappointing for England, but I think it was quite unlucky because, as I say, we played very well in the game and maybe could have won.
是的，很多球迷都认为英格兰和法国队的比赛是本届世界杯开赛以来最精彩的一个较量哈，所以你如何评价这场比赛呢？
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a very good game. I think that in the tournament, I think that probably France and England are the best two teams. Unfortunately, we had to meet each other early in the tournament because that could have been the final easily. I think England proved to the world that they're a very, very good team. And as I say, I think France are the best team in the tournament. So it was one of the best games. It was very enjoyable to watch as a neutral, of course, being English. It was difficult to watch us getting beat, but it was a good game. And France are a very strong team. France are missing 5 players before the tournament in their team, and they're still very, very strong. So there's no complaints. I think they're one of the best teams.
那么您认为本届世界杯上最令人惊喜的球员是谁呢？
I think every team always relies on one player, 2 players, but I think France in particular rely on Mbappe more so than most teams. Argentina with Messi, I think he is, of course, very, very important, but I think France without Mbappe are a good team, but they're not a great team. I think he's just different to everybody else. He's so fast, he's so much skill, he can score goals. I think France need to keep him fit and healthy, and if they do, then they can win the World Cup.
那么你认为英格兰队呢？
I don't think that we rely on one player at the moment. I think we've got lots of good players. I think the emergence of Jude Bellingham has been great in this tournament. I think he's one player for the future. One of my particular favourite players is Phil Foden. I think he's amazing. I think he's got great touch and great football brain. He's fast, he's skillful. So I think Phil Foden will go on to be one of England's best players in the future, but I don't think we rely on one player in particular to, if we get an injury to anybody, I still think we can cope. Whereas some teams, Argentina without Messi or France without Mbappe, I think maybe they will struggle a little bit.
那么作为英格兰进攻的支柱，如何评价凯恩在整届世界杯当中的表现呢？
Yeah, Harry Kane's been good. Harry Kane's very consistent. He always plays well. He didn't score in the group stage, but then he scored twice after that. So for a long, long time now, Harry Kane has been England's best chance of scoring goals. And now he's, broken the record as well of England's top goal scorer during this tournament. So I think he's a very important player. We don't have so many great strikers in England at the moment, so it's very important that he stays fit. And some people were criticising him after 2 or 3 games, saying he hasn't scored, but he was creating lots of assists and then he scored later on in the tournament. So yeah, he had a good tournament.
那在球迷的印象里哈，凯文似乎从来没有罚丢过点球，但是他却罚丢了最重要的一个。你觉得他最后一个点球为什么会直接打飞呢？
Well, penalty, they're not easy. They might look easy, but they're not easy. And of course, he scored a penalty before that in the game. And I agree with you. Harry Kane is a very, very good penalty taker. we've relied on him for many years, and he's scored many big penalties. So I don't blame him at all. I think he took a great penalty before that, and then his technique was wrong for the second penalty. Obviously hitting it high, he didn't want to hit so low on the ball, but that happens. Football is where you hit the football. The difference between tiny margins mean the ball can go there or there or there, and this is the skill of football, of course. So his technique wasn't perfect on the second penalty, but I've got no problem him taking the next big penalty because he's very good.
那凯恩与洛里是俱乐部的队友，有球迷认为英格兰队应该让其他球员去主罚第二个点球，因为洛里太熟悉凯恩主罚点球的方式了。所以你觉得是否同意他的这种说法和观点？
Yeah, but Harry Kane knows Lloris's best side, whether it's this side or this side. So, listen, afterwards, everybody's very clever. Everybody thinks, oh, you should do something different. And for those people that thought that, then after the first penalty, they didn't say anything. They was like, oh yeah, Harry Kane's a great penalty taker. And of course, when he gets the second penalty, then he misses, and then all of a sudden it's all because Lloris knows him. Well, Lloris didn't save the penalty, he hit it too high. I don't believe in that. He's our penalty taker. He's always been our penalty taker. He's a great penalty taker. He loves big pressure. He's always scored big pressure goals. He'd already scored one penalty. I have no problem with him taking. This is, missing penalties is just part of life, part of football. It's fine. And next time, as I say, I'm sure he will step up and take the next penalty.
那么，并且凯恩已经追平了鲁尼的进球记录了哈。如何评价他在英格兰队历史上的地位呢？
Well, his place is there in history now, obviously equaling the all-time record. He will go on to break the record. Is he 29? So he's still got, 2, 3, 4, 5 years left in the England team, maybe even more. So he's definitely going to break the record. Now he's equaled it. And Harry Kane is a great goal scorer. He might even break the all-time Premier League goal scoring record if he continues, the way he's playing. So great goal scorer, great player, very consistent, and obviously very pleased that he's English.
那么在下一届世界杯，凯恩就会33岁了哈。我们知道英格兰队现在有很多年轻的优秀的前锋，他们也将出战下一届的世界杯。你觉得凯恩还能继续带领英格兰队往前走吗？
Well, we have so many very good young players, but not necessarily strikers. Harry Kane really is the only striker that we have in England. After Harry Kane, it's a big drop. Now, players behind Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Rashford, Grealish, Saka, Sterling, players like this, they're all very good players, they're all attacking players, but they're not strikers.
凯恩是唯一的正印9号中锋哈。
He's the only number 9, really, the only world-class number 9 we have in England. So, yes, we've got great players, yes, we're very excited about our attack in the future, but at the moment, there's nobody that is challenging Harry Kane for the number 9 shirt. So who knows, 4 years is a long time. It's a long time in football. But at the moment, Harry Kane will still be in our team for the next tournament.
贝林厄姆和萨卡等新人在这届世界杯当中的表现也是非常的抢眼。你觉得他们怎么样？英格兰年轻一代的未来会取得什么样的成就呢？
Yeah, it's our great strength in the England team is the young players that are in attacking positions. So the players that I just mentioned. I think we were nervous about our goalkeeper, maybe, or nervous about our defence going into this competition. But the further up the pitch we get, the more excited we are. And all those players, Foden, Rashford, Sterling, Grealish, Saka, they're all very exciting players. And we got more players like this. We got Maddison. That didn't play in this tournament, and other young players. So this is an exciting part of the pitch for us, and as you say, lots of these players are very young still, so exciting for the future. Rashford played very well in the World Cup, yeah. Sometimes this happens with players, sometimes if you have a bad patch, then your confidence can drop a little bit, and then just putting a new shirt on, a different team, different teammates, different fans, sometimes it can have a nice effect on players. And Rashford was very good in the... to be fair, Rashford's been playing quite well in Manchester in recent times. He had a very quiet 1-2 years, but just at the end, before the World Cup, he was starting to play well again. And I thought he had a very good World Cup as well.
那马奎尔其实也有相同的问题，我想就是在英格兰队很多球员都会愿意帮助他，因为马奎尔转身比较慢，因为他很强壮又很高大。但是在曼联，他似乎更多的要直面面对对方的前锋，没有队友可以帮助他，不会像在英格兰队当中会有其他人可以给他帮助。
Yeah, Maguire is a similar thing, and lots of players, as I say, lots of players enjoy. If they're going through a bad patch, then sometimes it's nice to change your environment with the new manager, new colour shirt that you put on, the fans, the players. Maguire has always played well for England, and he has a good history of playing well for England. So as soon as he puts that white shirt on, he feels more confident. Now, obviously, the job for him now is to try to continue that back into a Manchester United shirt. But Maguire had a very good tournament. He's never let England down, and I think Gareth Southgate really trusted him for this tournament because he didn't play much for Manchester United, but straight away he said, "No, you're going to be my man," and that seemed to be a very good decision.
你会建议贝林厄姆再换一个更大的俱乐部吗？从而让他的职业生涯再次跨越到一个新的台阶。
Jude Bellingham.
是的。
Yeah, well, Dortmund are a big club. Dortmund have got a history of producing great players. Sancho, Erling Haaland, and now, of course, Bellingham. Lewandowski, of course, yeah. So they have a history of producing good players. But I think Bellingham is English. Bellingham probably wants to play in the Premier League. He moved to Germany as a good progression for his career. But I think he will want to come back to England very soon, and I think in the summer that will happen. I know a team like Liverpool are desperate for a midfielder of his quality, and I think other clubs as well around Europe, maybe Real Madrid and teams like that, will also be looking at him. He's very, very, very good, and he's only young, and whoever buys him has got the perfect midfield player for 10, 15 years. So yeah, I think he will play in the Premier League soon.
现在有很多俱乐部都对贝林厄姆很感兴趣哈，比如说你刚刚提到的皇马和利物浦，你更建议他去哪个呢？或者是回到英格兰，还是说去西班牙或者是其他的国家呢？
Well, I don't think you can go wrong if you play for Real Madrid or Liverpool or Manchester United, Manchester City, Barcelona. I think they're all great clubs. So I don't think he can make a bad decision. But I think he might prefer to play in the Premier League again. As I say, he's English, he speaks English. His family live in England, so it's only natural for him to come and play in the English Premier League. And at the moment, the English Premier League is the strongest league in the world, so I'm sure he will want to come back to England. And then you look at different clubs that can afford him, that need him, that he will want to go to. It narrows it down to 2 or 3 clubs. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where he goes.
那接下来我不知道您是否同意这个观点哈？英格兰队过于重视对姆巴佩的防守，从而忽略了对吉鲁的防守，而最终导致了吉鲁的进球。你同意吗？
Well, France have got a great team. Lots of players can score. I think before the game, you have to analyse where the biggest problems are going to come from. And Mbappe is the biggest problem. He is probably the best player in the world right now. So I think we did a good job trying to handle Mbappe. But, you know, this is France. They've got other great players. Giroud's just broken Thierry Henry's record of amount of goals, so there's no surprise that he scored. They've got great players all over the place, but no, I thought the tactics of Gareth Southgate and the way we defended, I thought it was good. As I say, I thought England were the better team in the game, so there's no complaints. I don't think Southgate made any big mistakes.
那么你如何评价索斯盖特在本届世界杯上的执教表现呢？是否还有进步的空间呢？
Yeah, no, I thought it was very good. I thought in the second game I didn't think his substitutions were very good, but in general I thought he managed the team very well. Look at Southgate's record. He's come 4th in the World Cup, and then he's come 2nd in the European Championships, and then he's come to this World Cup, and he's been beaten by what I think are the best team in the world. But they weren't beaten by much. I mean, as I say, I think England were better than France. So I think that Southgate's done a good job, and lots of people criticise him for being maybe some quite negative, but I think he's the most successful manager since we won the World Cup. I think Sir Alf Ramsey. We've been changing our managers all the time, but he's had more success than any other manager. So no, I think he did a good job.
所以，那你认为索斯盖特应该继续留任吗？
Yeah, I think so. If he wants to stay on, I know all the players like him. If he wants to stay on, then I think he's a good manager for us. But sometimes at international level, it's a long time between tournaments, 2 years every big tournament. So it depends on what he wants to do. But I think from England's point of view, if he wants to stay on for another tournament, then I think it would be a positive thing.
那你在世界杯之前预估英格兰队能够走多远呢？就是现在的成绩是否符合你之前的预期？
Yeah, I was very pleased with the way we played during this World Cup. We could easily have won this World Cup. We were playing very well against France, who I think are probably going to go and win the tournament. We were the better team. We got 7 points in the group stage. It was more than any other team, with a goal difference as well. Scored lots of goals. I thought we played very well, and I'm very excited about the future of this team. We've still got a lot of young players. There's 1 or 2 positions I hope we can find great players for these positions, but yeah, I think we've got a good future.
你如何评价他们在本届世界杯上的表现呢？
Yeah, well, Portugal had an okay competition. They got to the quarterfinals. There's no disgrace in losing in the quarterfinals, but I think their expectation when they were playing Morocco was to win to get to the semi-finals. But of course, Morocco have caused lots of shocks this tournament. So yeah, they will be very disappointed. They had a good team. They had lots of good attacking players coming into this World Cup. I think the Ronaldo situation has commanded a lot of the headlines during this tournament. It's very sad to see him playing his last World Cup. But no, Portugal did okay, but they will be disappointed losing, even though Morocco, deserved to win. I thought they played very well.
这也是 C 罗的最后一届世界杯了哈，但是围绕他的一直都是各种的负面新闻，比如说世界杯之前的采访事件，以及前不久的替补事件。所以你怎么看待 C 罗的这些事儿呢？对于他来说会是一个遗憾吗？
Yeah, listen, the World Cup is a difficult place. It's very difficult to win the World Cup, and everybody was hoping for a dream, for Messi to win the World Cup or Ronaldo to win the World Cup. And of course, not everybody can win it, so it's a shame for Cristiano Ronaldo. He's had the most incredible career. I just hope that his career finishes on a happy note. I don't like seeing him not playing for Manchester United and then leaving and then not playing for Portugal and all the headlines that people talk about. And I just hope his career finishes on a positive note and not all this negativity that people talk about now. Because I find it very difficult to watch when he is such a great player. I find it difficult to see great players then struggling for form or fitness or having arguments or negative things being written about them. So I hope for his sake, for his legacy, that everything finishes on a positive note.
那接下来我们再来谈一谈梅西哈，怎么评价阿根廷队在本届世界杯上的表现呢？
Well, they lost their first game against Saudi Arabia, and not many people thought that they would be in this position now in the semi-finals. Argentina are a strong footballing nation. They've always got great football teams, always got great players. Very positive from their point of view. They've got one of the greatest players of all time playing in their team, so they have to have a chance of winning the World Cup. So yeah, Argentina, after a slow start, now they're starting to play well.
那这也是梅西的最后一届世界杯了哈，他在对阵荷兰的比赛上表现出了很多与以往不同的特点，比如说比以前更加火爆的脾气，并且在赛后采访时让荷兰球员走开。所以你觉得他为什么在这届世界杯上会有变化呢？
I don't think he's changed. Listen, you can't be the great player that Messi is without having attitude and a bit of aggression and temper. And he always looks very happy and smiley, but football's a hard game. People trying to foul you, trying to hurt you, and he's had this all his life. And so you can't be, you know, an angel if you're going to be one of the best players in the world. You have to be very, very tough and very, you know, have a strong attitude and strong will and all these things. So maybe he doesn't show it on the camera too many times, but he is a very strong person. And maybe we saw one or two things on the camera the other day that surprises you, but it didn't surprise me.
或许他也是有他自己的态度。
Yeah, you need attitude. I mean, this is the most competitive game, and people will do anything to stop you, whether that's with the ball or without the ball or what they say. Or it's the World Cup, and people are doing anything to win, anything to get an advantage. So yeah, there's no surprise. These great players always have a bit of attitude.
那摩洛哥队应该是本届世界杯上的最大的黑马了哈，所以你认为他们是凭借着什么打进4强的呢？
Well, they've not been lucky. They've been very, very good. They don't concede any goals. I think they've conceded 1 goal in 9 games, which is incredible. The first African team to get into the last 4, which is a great record. African football is getting better and better. So I think they deserve to be in the last 4. But every time you look, you think, oh no, not Morocco, Argentina will win. But we said that about Spain and we said that about Portugal. So Morocco are here on merit and they need to be respected, and they don't concede many goals.
那么克罗地亚给大家留下的印象就是他们非常善于踢加时赛，然后点球获胜。所以如何评价克罗地亚队呢？
Yeah, virtually every knockout game that they play has gone to extra time. And they also have a goalkeeper that's amazing at saving penalties. So they have that experience, they have that know-how. When the game is tight, they have the ability to find that extra and find that extra push, that result. They've got some great players. Obviously, Modric is his last final as well. We talk about Ronaldo, we talk about Messi, but Modric as well has had an amazing career, and this will be his last tournament. So Croatia are a good team, a strong team, and never easy to beat.
那么接下来您能预测一下今年世界杯的冠军会是谁吗？
Yeah, well, at the start of the tournament, I said France are going to win it, and I'm not going to change my mind now. France are the best team in the world, in my opinion, and they should even be better than everybody else because they have so many players that didn't turn up at this World Cup. The likes of Pogba and Kante and Benzema. So France, for me, will be the champions.
那么我想你一定知道哈，你在中国有着非常多的球迷，他们总是关注皇马、利物浦和英格兰。那么你有什么话想对你的中国球迷说的吗？
Yeah, I've missed going to China actually. Of course, with the last 2 or 3 years have been so difficult for everybody. But before that, I was regular in China, maybe 20, 25 times been to China. I love going over there. I always said it was my second home. And I have many fans over in China, so I hope everybody is well, and I look forward to visiting again soon.
我们也欢迎你，非常感谢欧文，可以参与到我们本期节目的访谈当中，给我们分享了非常多哈。2018俄罗斯世界杯获得第4名，2020欧洲杯夺得亚军。英格兰近几年大赛越来越稳定，尽管本届世界杯不敌法国无缘半决赛，但萨卡、贝林厄姆、芒特、福登等人刚20出头，这支球队还有很大的潜力可挖。年轻的英格兰还有足够的时间让天赋兑现。好的，非常感谢您可以收看我们本期的《逐梦卡塔尔》，让我们下次再会。